point, I'm going to have Nick Miller, who is our representative for Octapharma here in the Northeast region. And I'm going to turn the show over to you, Nick. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Nick, the baton has been passed over to you.
Great. Thank you, Linda. Once again, on behalf of Octapharma, we just want to thank Linda, the entire Hemophilia Association of New York team. You guys have been great in allowing us to bring to fruition here an opportunity that we think is, a first for anyone in this community. So we're honored to be a part of it. We're really looking forward to being able to make this more than just a one-time event. We hope that we can continue to provide education to this community. And, that's really the ultimate goal here as to why we wanted to put this event together. So I am responsible for the coagulation portfolio with Octapharma. All of our bleeding disorder products, which Fibriga here is one that falls into that. So I am going to introduce our Director of Scientific and Medical Affairs, Trupti Shah. So at this point, I will turn it over to Trupti and allow her to discuss Fibriga.
Thank you, Nick. And Nick, could you verify, and Linda, that you can see my slides and hear me okay?
I can, Trupti.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Nick, for the introduction. Thank you, Linda, for all the coordination and inviting us to speak about the products that we have at Octapharma. So today, I'm very happy to be here for Medical Affairs to introduce all of you to Fibriga, because this is Octapharma's fibrinogen concentrate. And just so you know, this product, when it was FDA approved in 2017, it was approved as Fibrina. But since then, we changed the name, and so now it is officially called Fibriga in order to have the same global trade name in Europe, Canada, and the US. I'm just trying to switch my slide here. It's just a little bit delayed. Okay. So before I provide a detailed review of Fibriga, I wanted to explain why fibrinogen concentrates are the preferred treatment option for congenital fibrinogen deficiency, or we also call it factor I deficiency. And we know, as it was just explained, that this is an inherited bleeding disorder when there's a lack of fibrinogen. And Fibriga is one of the 2 plasma-derived fibrinogen concentrates available in the US today. You already heard about one of them, and now this is the second one. And just recently, the clinical guidelines from the National Hemophilia Foundation, they call it the MASAC guidelines. They just added Fibriga as a factor I deficiency treatment. And when we talk about fibrinogen replacement therapies, we talk about cryoprecipitate. This is a product that is prepared from plasma, but it has to be thawed in the hospital blood bank before it can be used. Whereas with fibrinogen concentrates, they're available as a lyophilized powder that can be reconstituted with the diluent for immediate use. Fibrinogen concentrates don't require blood typing, they don't require thawing, and the risk for transfusion-related reactions is potentially lower. Also, with fibrinogen concentrates, they are purified and virus inactivated to help minimize pathogen transmissions or pathogen transmission risk. Whereas with cryoprecipitate, this does not undergo routine virus inactivation and therefore not a first-line treatment option for factor I deficiency unless fibrinogen concentrates are not available. So what is Fibriga? It is a plasma-derived, double virus inactivated eliminated, highly purified concentrate of freeze-dried human fibrinogen. It is indicated for the treatment of acute bleeding in adults and adolescents with congenital fibrinogen deficiency, including afibrinogenemia, as we just discussed. This is when there is an absent level or lack of fibrinogen, and hypofibrinogenemia, when there are low levels of fibrinogen in the body. Fibriga is not indicated for dysfibrinogenemia, or as it was referred to, type 2 fibrinogen deficiency. So the figure that you see here is just showing you the purity of Fibriga, and based on chromatography. Chromatography is basically a laboratory technique to look at the separate components of a product. So this figure is just showing you the high purity of Fibriga because there's just a single peak of fibrinogen and no other extraneous proteins. So we talk about virus safety because we want to make sure that we minimize pathogen transmission risk through plasma-derived products. And with Fibriga, in the manufacturing process, there are two virus safety steps. The solvent detergent treatment step. This is well known to inactivate enveloped viruses. And when we talk about enveloped viruses, we're talking about HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and things like Zika, West Nile, the coronavirus family. These are also enveloped viruses. And the nanofiltration step is there to remove enveloped and non-enveloped viruses. So there are various virus inactivation methods out there. And heat treatment, for example, is another one. We want to make sure that we highlight the two key steps in the Fibriga manufacturing process for virus inactivation and removal. The dosing for Fibriga is similar to the other fibrinogen concentrate. Typically, the dosing is done either based on the patient's fibrinogen levels or based on the patient's weight if the level is not available or not known. And monitoring of the patient's fibrinogen is recommended during treatment to make sure that the target levels are achieved and also to ensure that bleeding is controlled or prevented. Fibriga is available in vials containing 1 gram of lyophilized powder to be reconstituted with 50 mL of sterile water for injection. The Fibriga package actually comes with the 1 gram vial of product. It also comes with an Octajet transfer device. This device is unique for Fibriga, and it allows for rapid reconstitution within 5 minutes, and also allows for a needleless transfer. And it also comes with a 17-micron particle filter, so you have everything in one box. And the other advantage of Fibriga is that the Fibriga vials can be stored at room temperature. So this might be helpful to know because you don't have to wait to reconstitute. If you keep your vials in the fridge, you have to wait to bring the vials to room temperature before you reconstitute. So you can avoid this waiting time with room temperature storage, and it also allows faster access to the product. The efficacy and safety of Fibriga is based on multiple clinical trials for congenital fibrinogen deficiency. The first two trials here, FORMA-01 and FORMA-02, they are the pivotal phase 2 and phase 3 studies that are referenced in the package insert. And basically, these studies are showing that Fibriga is efficacious for controlling bleeding, and also that it can increase fibrinogen levels, which is your ultimate goal for the management of patients who are lacking fibrinogen. And I will go through our phase 3 study results in just a moment. And I also wanted to point out that the FORMA-04 study is our pediatric study that was recently completed for patients less than 12 years old. And we do have an ongoing post-marketing study for patients who receive Fibriga in the hospital. So in regards to the phase 3 study that I was mentioning, this study was published in the Journal of Thrombosis and Hemostasis, and I'm just pointing this out because the study was conducted in 25 patients with afibrinogenemia, and it was for the treatment of 89 bleeding episodes. And to our knowledge, this is the largest study in this rare disease setting to date. When it came to the study design of the phase 3 study, to evaluate the efficacy of Fibriga for on-demand bleeding, they raised the bar. Fibriga is the only fibrinogen concentrate that has been studied in a phase 3 trial using objective 4-point criteria to assess efficacy. So on this slide, you can see the objective 4-point scale that was used based on clinical and laboratory criteria. And the bleeding assessment, so rather than using subjective assessments, they were using objective assessments in raising the bar in the way that hemostatic efficacy was evaluated. And the bleeding assessments were performed by the investigators, by the physicians, and also by an independent adjudication committee. So the efficacy assessments for all 89 bleeding episodes from our phase 3 trial are presented here. The investigator assessments are in blue, and the adjudication committee assessments are in gray. And you can see the efficacy was assessed as excellent or good for 97% and 99% of the bleeding episodes. So again, just showing you that this is demonstrating the efficacy of Fibriga for controlling bleed in afibrinogenemia patients. So before I summarize, I just also wanted to make sure that you saw the important safety information and the warnings and precautions that are in the package insert, and these are similar to the other fibrinogen concentrates. And we also wanted to point out that now you have 2 fibrinogen concentrates available to you, and it's always better to have more than one product available just in case there's a reaction to one and you need to try another. It is good to have more than one option. So in summary, the study results that are out there demonstrate that Fibriga is efficacious for the on-demand treatment of bleeding in adult and adolescent patients with congenital fibrinogen deficiency. The concentrated fibrinogen with the 1-gram vials allows for standardized fibrinogen content and also accurate dosing. And the Fibriga package comes with the 1-gram vial. It comes with an Octajet transfer device to allow for rapid and needleless reconstitution, and also the particle filter is included for you. And just remember that the Fibriga vials can be stored at room temperature for immediate use. So with that, I thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the new fibrinogen concentrate that is available now for Factor I deficiency patients. If you have any questions at all, you can certainly email me directly, and you also have a code here that if you'd like to scan it with your camera phones, you'll directly be contacted from someone at Octapharma for if you have any questions, and they're happy to provide you with more information. So with that, I will conclude.